You're watching the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent Austen Show.
Oh, yeah, it is. What's happening? Hope you had a nice long weekend. We extended it by a day, and that is Brian Thomas Jr. looking good at practice. Are the Jags looking good out there at OTAs? He's seeing a lot of tweets of some mistakes, and that's, I guess, okay, too. Tyson Campbell looking sharp. Number 3, still getting used to that number 3 a little bit. Devin Lloyd in the 0 uniform. Jarian Jones was performing pretty well, according to Anthony Campinale. So, like, some good reviews. One thing I do appreciate so far is my guy, Anton Harrison. I think he's better than you think he is. How about that? And then Trevor Lawrence and company. Now, Trevor's had some mistakes, and there's Travis, of course, getting all the attention still coming off that wedding weekend. But what I appreciate about Liam Cohen, Anthony Campinale, even a Grant Udinsky, and these guys, they're not, I don't feel like they're blowing smoke right now. They're like, yeah, it's been okay. I think they're pretty honest about it and the way it looks. You kind of want to stay positive, but you also need to blow smoke. And we know this time of year is a lot of that, right? A little overhype. And we'll see what it exactly leads. Trayvon Walker talked yesterday. And obviously one of the big stories from yesterday is the questioning of the weight. And, Austin's going to join us a little bit later on. Again, he's out in fight camp, and I hope you had a great weekend. Thanks for giving us an extra day there to the weekend. That was nice. Actually, a couple of days. Yeah, that was good. Get some stuff done, figure out some scheduling, and, here we go for a short week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, as we then enter the month of June, and the Jags just have another week of OTAs after this one, then mini camp right after that. But big story yesterday was the weight, and that was a big story last year too. And we say this all the time when it comes to weight. I've been doing this long enough now, close enough with the Jags, over 17 years specifically, more so than when I even covered the Giants and the Patriots earlier on in my career. But you start adding weight and taking off weight in sports, and especially in the NFL, it doesn't usually go well. It just doesn't. There have been a lot of guys that have tried it, and maybe there are better success stories, and we just kind of pay attention to the ones that don't work. I remember a guy like, I think it was Tyson Alualu tried this, and other folks have tried it. Maybe it's different diets. Like, everybody does something a little bit different. Like, there's new sports science, right, that comes up. And so it's like no different than me. Like, here I go again. It's the off season and too much beer and Elmira. So now I got to go on a diet. And I'm like, okay, what's the next diet? Like, I get bored by the diet, right? I get bored by trying to do something, and it's like, I got to try something else. And I think these guys do the same thing. Now, they do it from an advanced scientific standpoint, too. They get like, hey, this really worked for me, and this didn't work for me. And so I think you see these guys try different things. I remember when Malik Jackson, he's like, I was so close to being doing the vegan thing. And it's like, okay. Is that good, bad? Like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense for me. To big guy, like, you think that guy should be eating all the meat he can. I don't know. But these guys know better. And being a lean is an important thing, even at a big weight, for a lot of these players. So the point here is, why did Josh Hines-Allen, why did Trayvon Walker, why did Andre Sisco, why did all these guys add weight? I think even Devon Hamilton was the only guy that didn't add weight. And it just didn't work. It didn't work. It didn't work. Now, I will say this about the weight gain. I don't think it was as big a problem for those guys that I just mentioned, Trayvon and Josh Hines-Allen, as like you would think. Like, I don't think we were talking about during the year, like, whoa, these guys stink. They're not playing well. That ain't it. Now, Andre Sisco, maybe a different story. Can you hear me if I sniffle? Did you hear that? Come on, I hit the cough button. That's not working.
No, it's not working.
How am I going to sniffle throughout the show? I got the allergies when I went up to New York for the weekend, so I'm on the other side of it. Sorry. Maybe I'll turn away. But and I got to talk. I'll be doing a lot of this show by myself, so Kim, you might have to step in here. We're going to test your Jags knowledge today. But anyway, to finish off that point, I don't think they played poorly. Now, what Trayvon even said, he felt it a little bit more at the back end of last year. And what you get is when you're doing this in real time, you're asking about, hey, how's the weight? How's the weight playing? How do you feel about it? Oh, I feel good. I feel good. I mean, you're trying to trick yourself, right? I mean, you do this, we do this, like, I feel great. and these guys are supreme athletes, and they want to buy into what you're being asked to do. Totally get it. But in hindsight, it doesn't always work. And I think Trayvon said yesterday that, hey, it's not that it didn't work. Like, he didn't hammer it. He just said, I probably wasn't feeling as great by the end of the year as I could have been or I had been in the past. Now, Liam Cohen and everybody else side of that, again, which we'll get to here in a moment. And I might actually come up with that one first if we have sound on that, okay, Kim, since we're talking about it, before even the Travis Hunter stuff. But Cohen and Campinale were like, hey, different people ask different things. They weren't like hammering the staff previously, but everything this time of year, when you talk about last year, appears like they're hammering the staff. And I think Cohen's point was, we looked at everybody's body type and everybody's this and that and said, hey, where have you played really well? So Josh Hines-Allen gets 17 and a half sacks, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, let's put some weight on him. Great idea. What the hell? Don't change anything. Go to sleep at the same time, eat at the same time, work out at the same time, go to the same movie, go to whatever. Your routine shouldn't even change, right? Why? That's not smart. Doesn't seem like it's smart. And that's what we wondered. And I don't think Josh Hines-Allen had a poor year. I really don't. But I do think the idea of changing really made no sense. Like, you can try to get better technique-wise. You can try to get better schematic-wise. You can try to get better on a lot of different things. Josh Hines-Allen did not have to get better after 2 years ago. He had to maintain, not get better. So that's where it never made sense, and I don't think we were like really wrong about that in real time. I mean, we're like, what are we doing here? Like, why? Why? And I think Austen really wasn't a big fan of it because he's tried it too. He's actually done that before. They tried to push him to a certain weight, and it just didn't work. He didn't feel good, didn't feel comfortable. He tried to be the guy that bought into it as well because that's what you're going to do. And like, hey, maybe these guys know best. But bottom line is maybe they don't know best. So another thought about that, and we'll get to the weight in just a moment. We do have that? Oh, let's answer it quick because then I got a thought on Campinale in just a moment. But let's hear about the guys talking about the weight of last year versus shedding a few pounds and getting more like their previous best years, which I would say for Trayvon, Josh Hines-Allen specifically, go back to 2 years ago.
But you guys were asked to play heavy last year. Did you guys feel that at different points on the defensive side?
I'm not going to use it as an excuse. But, I mean, it definitely I felt like it played a little bit of toll on me close to the end of the season as we kind of got on. But it has its pros and its cons.
A lot of your key defenders have lost weight compared to last year. Was that a team directive? Was that something that you wanted to see, or was that something they did on their own?
Yeah, just kind of getting some of those guys back to, their natural playing weight. Just kind of where they'd maybe been in years past of having success, and kind of getting back to that is really what it came down to.
Did it show up on tape when you watched this defense last year that they were a little bit on the heavy side?
I know that they had put some weight on, in order to play some of the schemes that, structures that they were playing, and that's just, anybody's prerogative, right? That's the way they wanted to do it, and ultimately just kind of evaluating it and talking to some of the players and just trying to get them back down a little bit to maybe where they had been when maybe they had better years or been a little bit more productive, and definitely better for those guys to feel fresh.
How hard is it for a defensive guy to kind of play when maybe they're not truly comfortable with the way their body feels?
I wouldn't know that. They'd probably be better suited to answer that question, but I really like the way they look right now. I think they're really moving well, and they got a ton of strength, which, you need that. You need strength at the point of attack. You got to play physical. You got to be able to whip blocks, be violent on the line of scrimmage. So they look really good. I love what they've done this offseason, and our strength staff's done an unbelievable job with these guys. They've been grinding them, and it's showing out here, It's been good.
Hey, look, we want to be lighter than what we were last year.
No, it's really more so just we meet, as an organization, with the strength staff, and just kind of look at where we think the best way for those guys to go is in terms of their weight, But also, in my opinion, when you're a pro, you usually know, hey, when am I at optimal speed? Where am I my strongest, where I'm not losing strength or losing speed? And I think those guys did a great job with that in the offseason when they were away from here, coming back in great shape.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we know what it is, I guess. I mean, what Campinale just said there is like, this isn't, I don't really think it's rocket science. What I think is fascinating is everybody's got their own method when it comes to sports science and like a strength coach and everything else. And I mean, if you just start adding up the pieces of the last couple of years, there's just so much it doesn't make sense. That's my problem with it. I don't have an issue as much when you're wrong and you have conviction, right? Like you've got a reason. And you're like, this is why we should do this, what we should do, and all those things. Like, I always say this about, like, the Jags picking Blaine Gabbert. Like, I don't have a major problem with them going up and trading and getting Blaine Gabbert. They thought they had their guy. They really liked their guy. It turns out they were wrong. They're not the only ones that have ever been wrong about a quarterback. And it didn't work. And by the way, their plan sucked and their alignment and everything else. So there's a lot that goes into that. But like, I don't blame them for going to get their guy. Where I put a little more blame, and I'm not a big, I think if you coach in this league, you usually know what you're doing. And I do think you know what you're doing. Now, there are levels of that. But what is problematic is when a lot of things just don't make sense. And I think one of the things that didn't make sense for this group is the weight gain. And I'll even back it up with the conditioning stuff and the strength and conditioning staff. And I love the guys. I'm just saying the methodology of how everything was. Like Trent Baalke coming out of 2023, 24 was just this past year. Yeah, so 23, when they lost 5 of 6, when he finally talked, it took 3 weeks, all that stuff. One of his big things, I remember asking him in that news conference, he was like, well, we got to get stronger. We got to be more physical. We got to be more physical. Now, Doug was kind of different, right? They weren't aligned there. Got to be more physical. And I remember asking him in that news conference, like, are you making a change to the strength staff? No, we think they're doing a great job. Like, okay, wait a minute now. Like, you think they're doing a great job, but you need to be more physical. It doesn't add up to me. And I love those guys. And maybe they were right and the rest of the regime was wrong, all this stuff. I'm not putting it on the strength and conditioning staff, but how do you say that if you're the GM? Like, that never made sense to me. If that's what you believe coming out of that year where you weren't physical enough, how the heck do you say, oh, okay, yeah, we're good? Like, that doesn't seem to make sense to me. So that's illogical. Like, that just doesn't make sense. Now you go get Ryan Nielsen, and the first thing he does to be more physical is put weight on guys that were coming off career years. Huge step for Trayvon Walker into double-digit sack territory, and 17.5 for Josh Hines-Allen. And the response there was, hey, let's go put more weight on and change these guys' bodies, and maybe they'll be even better. For what? They're already good against the run. Like, these guys are already, this isn't Yannick Ngakoue. Throw 15 pounds on him, see if he can stop the run. Guys are already good against the run. So those are just a couple of examples. And I know everybody wants to take shots at the old regime and everything else, and I know we do enough of it because it's kind of the way it goes. But those are like real, like, head scratchers. They just don't make sense. And so I think what Campinale just said there was really more profound than anything else. Is like, or even Cohen. We just really went back to where they're comfortable, where they feel strong and fast, explosive, really good. We all know what that looks like, by the way. We all know in our own bodies what that looks like. Now, whether you can get there or not, sometimes that's a different story, but we know what that looks like. They do too. They're supreme athletes, spend a lot of money on their body. Their body is their work, really. Like, that's their deal now. So, good idea. Get back to where that guy feels really good and the best that he feels and can play at. And let's just look at the numbers and say, oh, they were really good at this weight. Why don't you try to get back there? So I like the common sense part of this, not that, oh, we really think because of this and that and all this other stuff, that getting back to 262 pounds would really fit in our defense the best. It's overthinking it, man. It's overthinking football, which is often done. And I just applaud this group for at least going back to that way. And that's got nothing to do with scheme, nothing to do with anything else. Just look good, feel good, play good. And, oh, by the way, the resume matches it. And they've got so many metrics now, right? Like, I was thinking when Campinale talks about this, we might even hear his whole thing, because I think it's interesting to hear Campinale talk and get to know these guys, if you didn't see all of that, and even to digest and break down some of the things that he said. But he said, like, yeah, wherever they feel they're biggest and fastest and all that stuff. Well, here's the deal. These days, you can see that. They are wearing GPS systems and everything else where you can see how fast, how explosive, how everything else they are and where they're peaking. So there is a sports science to it. And my guess is last year that wasn't it for these guys. So they probably took some of that data along with the common sense of the stats and everything else. So anyway, just an interesting topic coming out of it. It's been a long topic around here. And I think Devin Lloyd looks thinner. I think just all these guys have backed off that. And now do they feel more comfortable? Do they get better play? And then there's a coaching and a scheme part of it and everything else. But at least you start from a baseline of, hey, I feel good. That's a good place to start. I feel healthy. I feel fast. I feel strong. I feel good. I would think that's a good place for your high-priced athletes to be, at least to start. Speaking of high-priced athletes and Travis Hunter, it seems like forever ago he got married. I can't get over, by the way, the week or the 6 months of this guy. Think about this, Kim. Like, where would you rank these? All right? He got married this past weekend. He got drafted in late April with the second pick and was the talk of the draft. He had his jersey retired at Colorado. Go all the way back to December. He won the Heisman Trophy. And am I missing something else in there? We'll just stop there. Like, where do you rank it? I mean, is getting married that high on the list?
Honestly, I'd probably say no. But
oh, it's
I've been married for 11 years. So.
Yeah, it's probably life-changing to get the draft pick, right?
Yeah.
To get that draft.
I think that's number one, and I would say jersey retired maybe number two, because you're kind of immortalized there.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. Like even more than the Heisman. Kind of immortalized in Heisman too, though.
Yeah, true.
So that's a tough. Maybe I'll ask him this question.
Huh?
He better answer it though with married first.
Probably, if
right?
he wants to stay married.
Yeah, I think he needs to do that. But man, think about that. Think about how many in your life, how many life-changing moments you have. And like I still go back to the wedding. The wedding day is like the best day of my life. It was awesome that day. Hamby just had it. But I don't think you can dismiss what other things happened. He put his place in the history of the college football game, put his place in the history of Colorado, and then he also put his place in the history of the NFL already by being a two-way pick. I mean, his professional and public and private life have been just off the charts in a 6-month span. Like, that is a lot. Like, the rest of this dude's career is boring. I mean, how do you top it?
Well, you top
Super
Bowl?
it. Yeah, you top it by some of those things, right? Like, you definitely do. But it's just amazing to me how many of those kind of moments he squeezed into like a 6-month time frame. And listen, I think the guy's used to a lot of it. I think he handles it all. It's just another day in the life of Travis Hunter, quite frankly. But it's pretty significant and what you don't know at 2 years old, if you realize this while it's going on, right? A lot of us, even now, like at whatever your age is, you don't realize the good, the bad, the whatever, kind of in real time. Sometimes it's really hard to be where your feet are, if you will, in those moments and understand the magnitude of those moments. It might be 3 years down the road. It might be this summer while he's fishing and getting away from football where he's like, damn, that was an eventful few months. And he just rocks and rolls and continues on. But really, if you think about it, this guy's probably had an eventful year each and every year of his life for the last probably 6 years. Like go back to high school and the recruiting, and then coming out of high school, the Jackson State stuff, and then you going on to Colorado, and now you're playing and all this, all of that. So
no wonder his smile's so big.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good life, but he enjoys it too. We're going to have a chance to sit down with Travis next couple of days, and it'll be interesting to ask him about some of that part, and maybe I'll have him rank him. but he better stick with the wedding part. Hey, so the big story out of camp yesterday, out of OTAs yesterday, was that he has played defense. Last Wednesday, he went and played some defense. And so that kind of fascination with the football world is on display. Now, interestingly enough, there have been 3 open periods, rookie camp, 2 OTAs, and he's played offense every single time. So we have not actually seen him play defense yet. But the conversation yesterday was about the switch to defense, more accolades and for Travis Hunter, more about the adjustment, the acclimation process, and how this guy can handle it. So let's hear from all the parties involved, talking about Travis Hunter and playing a little bit of defense.
Have you got Travis out on the field with the defense yet?
Yeah, last Wednesday.
What did you think when you saw him out there?
It was good. He's still learning. He's been learning a ton defensively and offensively, as we know. But that was more so fundamentals, techniques. It wasn't a ton of 11 on 11, 7 on. It was more fundamentals, techniques, communication. That was what that kind of last Wednesday was. And he's been learning with those guys and meet with them extra as he's needed to.
Back to Travis Hunter. Is it better a little bit for him to not have him go offense, defense on the same day, to give him a certain number of days on defense and then 1 day on offense?
Yeah. We won't put him in that situation to have him do that, although I'm sure he'd probably want to. I'm sure. But at the end of the day, it's trying to, he still meets defensively every day that he's on offense. So he's getting the mental part of it and being able to catch up on some of the communication, some of the corrections off the film from the defensive side of the ball. So he's getting a lot of the mental, and it would probably be unfair to put him out on the grass and do both and ask him to go do that and see success,
Would there be a point in time when you would do that, though, like during the season?
Yeah, I would say so. In season, he's going to probably have to, just because it's the way that practices are kind of organized. He's definitely going to have to do that, right? Like, I envision maybe a 3rd down day in season where obviously he's playing receiver, but he's also going to have to go get some reps on defense and be able to do some of those things. So it will come up, absolutely. Just from the teaching and the initial stages of it, don't really see that being something we'll do anytime soon.
Mentally, is he handling what you guys have thrown at him the way you expect him to at this point, this early in the process?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, we don't just line up and trips right and double left and eye right all that often. So it's probably just from a system standpoint, it's got a lot. It's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of motion. So he's going to have some mistakes, as has a lot of guys, right? There's going to be some. I don't think we've had a complete ton of plays where he has not known what to do. Right, there may be an instance where he aligns right, runs the route, but maybe is a yard or two short, or he missed, things like that, the little details that he'll continue to learn, and I think he's about where we would expect, though.
You're like having a share of players.
What's it like having a share of player?
Travis Hunter, offense, the meeting, what's it like having a manager?
You know what? I mean, honestly, I've coached in high school, college, and pro, so I feel like I've done that a lot. So, he's a special guy because he's really, really a bright guy. I know you guys have gotten the opportunity to meet him, but all the coaches, everybody's been really impressed with his ability to retain the information. He's been out here with us, obviously on defense, and I know he's on offense today, but he's done a great job with that, and I can't imagine another guy being any better suited to handle that. Travis is really certainly suited to do that.
Coach said last Wednesday out there with the defensive group?
Yeah, he was out with us last Wednesday.
What do you think when you saw him out there?
I think he's pretty good. Yeah, no, fired up to have him out there, and he did a very good job, getting out there, and he's done a great job with Coach Milas and Coach Lascari, a couple of the other coaches on staff, just spending time, and he's doing extra every day, so I have a ton of respect for everything that he's done to this point.
Are you going to have to negotiate for him during games, like, hey, we need him on the defensive side?
That's up to the head guy. But no, we have a plan for Travis, and excited to put that in place, and it's been going very well to this point, so we're excited to keep it moving throughout the course of the preseason and regular season.
Kind of like Anthony Campinale, right? It's fun to listen to him talk a little bit. Again, we might even play a little more of that as we get to know these guys. And he's good. Yeah, that's simple. That's good that is jumping off. Better than the alternative, like, uh-oh. We don't want that. That wouldn't be a good thing. So, good start for the Travis Hunter era, if you will. And a couple of comments, by the way. Steve Boston said, seems Josh is playing back at his 17.5 sack year. Wait to talk about that conversation. Yeah, it looks like it. 44-41. We're close to getting more sacks. Maybe the weight played a hand besides lack of interior. Yeah, I don't know that. I think the year prior, if we want to go to the year prior to Josh Hines-Allen's 17.5 sacks, well, he was really close, like a bunch of times. Like I had said that. That's why I was like, I'd sign him. Like he's right there. Now, that regime wondered if he could get home. Like they wondered if he was going to be able to get there. They genuinely wondered that. That's why they kind of hesitated and waited. And then he put up 17.5. But that was at a similar weight is my point. So I don't know. I don't know if that played that much a role. It is a game of inches. All right. And I always say that one frame of video. So if you feel a little bit sluggish toward the end of the year specifically, could you have got home? Maybe that is but I just think it's hard to tell that. Zay Fortner, I think it's funny, he was asked about his wedding at his introductory press conference, responded by saying it was private. Yeah, that was pretty public wedding, right? It's private until he wants to put it on YouTube or social media, which is fair enough. And I don't think they will have Travis practice any defense while the media is allowed OTAs. I wouldn't, at least, says Hamby's Burner. No reason given any hint at all how he will be utilized. Yeah, I wonder about that a little bit. Like, how much are you giving away? Usually when they're about to give stuff away, the cameras go off. Like, just so you understand how practice works, you're allowed to shoot certain things at practice, and then the cameras go off. And I'm sure many of you know this. If you've been to practice, even in training camp, like that will subside. So you got to get your work in, right? Even at some of these. But at least right now, to your point, you can hide it a little bit. I tend to not think that is the case. I think right now we're being invited to the first one of the week. And so when you come back off a weekend, I think you're probably starting him on offense because that's where the higher percentage of plays go. So you're going to start him on offense and then maybe mix in middle of the week or later in the week the defensive side. So I don't think it's an access thing or a hide this, hide that thing. And by the way, during minicamp in the middle of June for 3 days, I think all of that is open to the media. So we will see it. And I mean, what are they going to hide? I mean, we know he's going to play corner. He's probably going to play some nickel corner. I don't think there's a bunch to hide there. I think that package stuff will be on like the non-shooting times for the media anyway. Like you just won't be able to video it anyhow. So I don't think they're going to give away too much in that respect. But it's so early right now. I don't even think they're even concerned about giving away a whole lot. There's so much install and getting these guys just in football shape and everything else. So it's a good thought. It'll be interesting to see if it feels like they are trying to hide him and position him. It is an advantage now this staff has. And so I think you utilize that advantage. Those first couple of games, until people get video and film on you, how are you doing things from a Liam Cohen standpoint, Anthony Campinale standpoint, Travis Hunter, some of your new players, De'Ami Brown? How are you doing some of these things offensively and defensively? I think that's something you have in your back pocket. You try to utilize it, but you can't try too hard to utilize it because you got to get your work in. And I don't think you should be too consumed by that because 2 weeks into the season, everybody knows what you're doing. Maybe it's 3 weeks. I don't know. But that's still, you keep that in your back pocket and use it as best you can. No doubt, especially when it comes to preseason games, you'll hide stuff and training camp as well, what you allow people to see. and not see. Let's do this. Take a break. We allow you to see the Brent Austen Show each and every day, so thanks for hanging with us. And short week for us as we get back into the fold on Wednesday here in late May. We will have Casey come by in the 11 o'clock hour, Austin in the 12 o'clock hour. So it'll be a lot of that over the next month or so because Austin's in fight camp, so get ready for a July fight. I'm not even sure if it's been announced yet, but we know it's in July. There's the secret. Hey, Jacksonville Sharks 6-2. They've got an odd week. They're on the road once again, so back-to-back, but it's 2 games in like 5 days. They play tomorrow night on the road, so you can't see that game. We only play the home games on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network, but you will be able to see Shark Bites. We're going to have that later tonight and into tomorrow, and then we'll even still probably play it at its normal time Friday and Saturday on the network, actionsportsjacks.com. Jacksonville Sharks playing good football, good win last week on the road. They'll try to get another one on a short week tomorrow night. They are 6-2. When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness. The most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC. We are professional grade.
The schedules are out for another summer of soccer here in Jacksonville with the Armada men's and women's under-23 squads, starting with the ladies and the home opener on May 24th. 2 weeks later, they're back in Northeast Florida for a June 7th matchup. The season wraps up with a pair of Friday night home matches June 20th and the 27th. As for the boys in blue, they debut against a couple league newcomers on May 9th and 17th respectively, with more home dates on May 31st, June 14th, and June 21st. All those matches are at Edward Waters University, and you can watch them live on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Those teams are a big focus on Fleet and Footy, covering the big soccer stories each week on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
I'll put one in the back of the net for you.
Join us for player profiles, fun interviews, and the very latest on the Fleet and all things footy. That's every Thursday at 2 p.m.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, you can get a free Connecticut reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
There's a saying in sports, you can't win them all, but you can win a lot with good folks on your team. Like that one painter, First Coast. It's tough to beat the sun in Florida, so your home fades. It's tough to beat that HOA when they come calling. Beat the sun, beat the HOA with that one painter, First Coast. And it's a good time to do it. Less rain to work around and painting in mild temperatures is perfect. After all, the paint bonds to the surface so much better. Give that one painter First Coast a call at 904-417-3557 or look them up at first-coast.thatonepainter.com. Fast estimate, guidance on color and HOA requirements, and the highest quality job you'll find anywhere. Be a big winner in your neighborhood with that one painter first coast on your team.
It's fast-paced.
Hands off on first down, and there goes Edward Vander.
High fly.
Wide open receiver. It's caught.
Action-packed. Weekend fun. Fun for the entire family. It's the Jacksonville Sharks.
I feel like anybody could play in this league. It's gonna be like backyard football, right?
Whoa! This ain't the Arena League, Brent. This the indoor league, and they play defense here.
It's a lot safer to just watch the professionals play. And watching is a lot of fun. A party in the stands at the arena for kids and adults. And it's indoors. Get out of the heat for the summer and watch the Sharks shine inside. Jacksonville Sharks football, season number 15. It's the Drive for 5, and it's still alive. Get your tickets at jacksharks.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
There's a look downtown at the sports complex, Everbank Stadium. Look at construction still wiped out there right in front of the stadium where most people enter, and work continues to be done with cranes downtown. And the Jags continue OTAs this week, obviously at the Miller Electric Center. Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp on the road. Jacksonville Sharks on the road. So I guess overall kind of a quiet time downtown. I don't know if there's some music festivals or other things happening, but definitely not inside Everbank. Brent Mortno along with Kim's Corner. We'll have Casey Kurtz with us in just a little bit. And also Austin Lane in the noon hour as he continues to get ready for his fight at Fight Camp down in South Florida this week and really throughout the next month or so. Kind of a fun time around here. I just saw Allison Benning, UNF softball player, was named the Mid-Major Player of the Year, so that's kind of cool for UNF. So some of the awards rolling in for those schools and programs. Speaking of UNF, their fantastic track facility is hosting the NCAAs this weekend, and this week gets going today. So a busy time over there on the campus of the University of North Florida. You can read actionnewsjax.com, see all the impact that event makes here on Jacksonville, including on the local restaurants and other things. We will have... we might even go live from the Coastal Collegiate Baseball League here in Jacksonville on Friday. We had some of that with Action Sports Jax and showcasing the opening week there. We may do the game, I don't know about do the game, but be live from the game and actually show you some of that game on the show Friday side by side. I'm trying to think of how we can do it, but I like the idea of it. Go live from the baseball game because they have a 10 o'clock in the morning game. So we might do a little bit of that as well. Fun time of year for us because we're actually in the middle of taping a new show. We're calling Storytellers of the 904, and we have another recording going on today. And we're basically taking different figures in Jacksonville, whether it's media or also just significant sports figures. Like we have a scheduled one with Tony Baselli, for instance. Try to get one with Artist Gilmore coming up. And we're going to launch that series and show, and I guess would be season 1 coming up in July. So we have a lot of fun stuff going on behind the scenes as we get ready also for another football season here in Jacksonville. So, well, let's just talk football until then, at least now. Hamby's Burner said good points. I must have made some good points before the break, so appreciate it. That's what we try to do here, is make some good points here or there. We got a bunch of interviews lined up. Emmanuel Ogbah we will try to get to today. We've still got some Liam Cohen talking about a guy that's been pretty good out there at OTAs. And again, take that with a grain of salt, whatever that means. But he hasn't really been over the top about anybody. And he's not over the top about this guy, but he definitely has been, seems like, at least patting him on the back. And that's De'Ami Brown, who's come in and done a nice job. So we'll hear from that a little bit. Again, I want to talk Anthony Campinale. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. We won't play his whole news conference. We might a little bit later, because I think he's an interesting guy to get to know. And we've said this in the past on the show. We talk about offense all the time. We talk about Trevor. It's got to be a big year for Trevor. We talk about Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. Oh, what a connection. That could be great. We talk about Brenton Strange. How can he fill the role? How can he take the next step but fill the role of Evan Ingram in that production? The offensive line, they've got, 6 new offensive linemen in? Does that make them a better offensive line? Walker Little, is he going to get it done? Tootin and Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby, how do those guys perform together? What's the rotation look like? Who's going to be the workhorse? Do they need a workhorse? All these questions. But the best way for the Jacksonville Jaguars to get better is really on defense. Because if their defense plays better, gets the offense the football, especially in plus territory from time to time, that 18.8 points a game will go up almost automatically, even if we stay the same here in Jacksonville on the offensive side of the ball. Now, what you do need is your quarterback to play the entire season and everything else. But so I don't want to dismiss the offense. Obviously, the offense is the big thing. You're an offensive team now. Your head coach's offense. And so you've got to be able to put up points. And 18's not enough, and 21's not enough. 23's not enough. I think you got to average something north of 24 points a game, and maybe even more at some point if you really want to be who you think you can be on offense in this league. I think if you're 24 points a game, you're probably contending for the division. If you can get to 26, 27 points a game, well, now you're competing for the AFC. I think. I'm just kind of going off the cuff there, but I'm pretty sure that's a pretty good metric. But your defense can help you out. This defense did not help them out. This defense was really bad. And I think their offense struggled too, and I would even come to the defense of the defense at times to say, your offense is supposed to be the one controlling the tempo of the game. You're an offensive team. It starts there. Like, you can complain about the defense all you want. And I've done this the last couple of years where it's like, okay, complain about them all you want, but it's really the offense where this complaint system should start. But now you look at it in hindsight, and you're like, well, 32nd in this, and 29th in this, and 27th in this, and 32nd in that. 9 takeaways. A defensive scheme, and I would say a defensive group that really wasn't responding to the staff and the scheme they were playing. So Anthony Campinale, to me, is in such a good position. He inherits a team that I think has some pretty good players on that side of the ball. And I don't think you disagree. I mean, if he can continue to get the production out of those two ends, in Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen, if he can get the old kind of play out of Eric Armstead, or is he too old? We'll see. I think Mason Smith is a guy you can really work with. We'll see about Jordan Jefferson, but Devon Hamilton, can he get back and tick up to at least the player that they thought they were signing? Foye Oluwakin's a consistent player, in my opinion. Devin Lloyd and the other linebackers got to figure that out, no doubt. Tyson Campbell is a guy that has to play like your $20 million guy. And now you're going to mix in a Jordan Lewis, who played really well in Dallas. And then we'll see about the Jarian Joneses and everybody else. I'm not putting them in this category, but I just listed 6, 7 players that I think you could say, hey, they can tick up. And then what does coaching look like? What does scheme look like? What does everything else look like? I think Anthony Campinale is in an unbelievable position to have some success right away. I mean, he is in a great spot. Can I say, like, right now that this team is not going to be 32nd in the league? Can I say right now this team will have more than 9 turnovers forced on defense? I think I can. I don't care if I'm calling plays. I just think it's going to be better. I have no idea how good Anthony Campinale is. No idea. I don't know how you would know. I don't know how we would. I don't think the league knows, really, in this position. But he starts from a level of, hey, just be okay, and it will be better. Like, what is this football team if they are between 14 and 18 in the league defensively? I mean, that's all you're asking. Like, I'm not asking them to get in the top 10 defensively. I don't know if they have the ability to do that or not. That'd be a huge jump. So, but could they be 14 to 18? That's middle of the pack. That's average. Yeah, why not? I think they could be. So I think Campinale is a fascinating part of this whole deal here in Jacksonville because I think the upside there is right in front of you. The upside on offense is not as in front of you, I don't think. Brian Thomas Jr. just came off an awesome year. He has to try to do it again. Travis Hunter, we don't know what he's going to do in the NFL. You have less production at tight end. We know that. Is Tootin going to elevate the room in the backfield as much, or is Cohen going to do that? Like, we'll see. Like, these are all we'll see, maybe, okay, feel good, better. Let's debate it. There's not a lot of debate on defense. Again, I know they're not going to just have 9 turnovers. I just know it. And I know they're not going to be like dead last and give up 71 explosive plays. Like, I think I know that. So his starting point is like such a good place to be for Anthony Campinale in his first go-around as a defensive coordinator. I think they'll automatically be elevated even if he's just good. I don't think he has to be the best coordinator in the league. I think Cohen and that offense has to really elevate and produce for this team. I think they have to get the best out of Trevor. They have to put him in good situations. They have to get the best out of the offensive line in the running game, which they've done in the past. That's what their resume says. So, but I do think like they have to make a distinct difference. I'm not really sure, with all due respect to Campinale, he might be awesome. But I don't think he has to be to get more out of this defense is the overall point. So Campanale's fascinating to me. The defense is fascinating to me as it shakes out for 2025. Hey, another guy that's kind of cool. I think this is a cool story right now. I don't think there's a lot to really lean into on Rayaun Lane and where he fits and his projection. He's a 6th-round pick. So with that, we back off and we're like, well, let's see. Special teams, safety. You know, they've got a guy in Ransaw who people are a lot more excited about from a safety impact position for good reason. That's why they picked him in the 3rd round. So, but I think the cool part of Rayaun Lane is really the whole Naval Academy stuff. In a Navy town, he's going to be kind of the face for this organization in that respect. They've changed the rules at allowing the service players to be able to play rather than commit to their service first in the NFL. And so that's a big deal, and he's a product of that. He also is a guy that really could surprise, right? He's the first Navy Naval Academy player taken by the Jags. First one taken in the secondary. I think there have been 19 overall, but first one at in the secondary. So he's kind of a cool deal. And we will actually have a story, hopefully down the road. There's a cool local connection to Rayaun Lane. There's actually a connection I just found out about over the weekend. Had a buddy from Ashland University, where I went to school, text me. He's like, hey, did you know Rayaun's mom went to Ashland? I was like, get out of here. Didn't know that. So there we go. I got that. That doesn't matter to you guys, but that's kind of a fun one for me. So regardless, this guy, I think, is a very interesting piece to the puzzle. I look at him as probably a special teamer out of the gates, and then anything else you kind of like, all right, let's see how it goes. But not betting against the Navy guy. It sounds like what everybody says about him is pretty cool, and you'll hear some of that. Olivia Tassley was part of this conversation, along with some others, I think, with Rayaun Lane. Let's take a listen to the 6th-round pick out of the Naval Academy.
Congratulations on graduating. What was it like crossing the stage of graduation now finishing your 4th OTA here?
Yeah, I mean, I think, obviously it was a big deal, just to go through those 4 years, put in all that work, the ups and downs and all that stuff, and just to know that it's completed, but not just that it's completed, that the journey is still going on. There's still a lot of things to accomplish, when it comes to Marine Corps, when it comes to football, when it comes to all that stuff. So just knowing that you still have goals and completing all those things, but just knowing that you can close the actual chapter, of being an undergrad at the Naval Academy.
What has this transition been like now as a full-time NFL player?
I mean, it's been cool. I like the weather. The weather is pretty nice, and then just being able to focus on football, because through college, just having to balance so many things on your plate at one time, but just being able to get here and, just solely focus on football, improving your game and stuff like that. So.
Do you know you're the first Naval Academy player to ever be drafted by the Jaguars?
No, I didn't know that,
yeah,
but that's pretty cool.
I mean, when you hear that, how unique is that? How much honor do you feel, being the first one?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's huge. I think it's pretty significant. And just, paying homage to the people that helped me get to this point, and for other, players at the Naval Academy, knowing that they can also achieve if they put in the work. They're going to have that support system that's going to look out for them, and do all those types of things. So.
To feed off of that, first Jags Navy draft pick, you're also the first defensive back from the Navy to be drafted. What do those titles mean to you? I mean, just it's pretty cool, and just a little bit of representation, like I said, for the young guys to know, hey, there's somewhere that you can strive. There's another level, another wall that you could, kind of get over and stuff like that. So just the motivation for them, and then, just being from the Naval Academy is awesome. Because of this new legislation, you're like one of the new ones to do this, to serve time in football before serving your country, right? Did you have a dream of going to the NFL because of this new legislation didn't exist before? It's like you had to go serve your country before, potentially going into the NFL? Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Just, all throughout college, I was kind of like a day-to-day, type of guy. I never really got too far ahead of myself. Just try to push myself every day, as much as I could, and just knowing that someday, I was going to fulfill a goal, whether that had been, in the fleet, in the Marine Corps, or on the football field, just knowing that whatever I'm going to do it to my best ability. So. Does it feel like fate to be drafted to a military type of a town? Have you been able to explore any of that at all? I mean, yeah, it's definitely pretty cool. Like, I got so many guys that are up in Mayport right now at NAS Jags as well. So, people that I play with personally, people that I know personally. So just to be around them, it's cool.
Have you visited the ports yet? Mm-hmm. Oh, you have? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's cool. What was that like? I mean, I assume that's your first time that you've been to Mayport or NAS Jags? Yeah. I mean, they were pretty cool. Obviously, I didn't get to do too much on them, but just driving around, they look pretty nice. It's just nice to see how they have things going there. What's harder, an NFL practice or like a regular day as a Naval Academy student?
I would say a regular day at USNA. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. That's great. I heard you guys take like 18 credits and then you do like football. Like
it's a lot.
I feel like this would be much easier. That's crazy.
Have you had your welcome to the NFL moment yet? Do you feel like?
I wouldn't say so, not yet. I think that's probably going to change whenever we get a chance, put our pads on and bang a little bit. So.
What's it like learning from some of the older kids or the older guys, I should say, in the defensive backs room, especially safety?
I mean, it's awesome. All of them are welcoming. They've been, in the league for a while now. So just all the little gems that they can pass down is awesome. And, like I said, some guys can be kind of stuck up, but that's definitely not the case here. Everybody's welcoming, offering extra film, whatever it might be, they want to help. So that's pretty cool.
So I actually caught up with your head coach ahead of rookie minicamp when he was in town for an event. So here's some quotes he says. He pursues excellence in everything that he does. Not too often he gets to work with an athlete of your character at the academy, does all the right things, has all the intangibles, which I'm sure this Jags brass loved hearing that intangible words. What's it like hearing that from your college coach?
I mean, it's just awesome just to see that he has that trust, that faith, and he knows what type of person I am, and then obviously to be the type of person to be able to project that kind of character. It's pretty cool. So.
And he also told me that you entered the transfer portal, like no hard feelings, but you ended up coming back, and it just shows how you're dedicated and you didn't want to leave this team. Mm-hmm. Can you give us your perspective on everything? Because you were offered an NIL deal, you went to, Lane Kiffin and all of that. Talk to us about that.
It was cool. I did enter the transfer portal, but just being able to see on the other side and things of that nature, I just knew, like, at the Naval Academy, like, the calling was much bigger. It meant a lot more to me. So ultimately, I wanted to stay.
You had 43 straight consecutive starts. You can get that in your first 3 years here as a rookie. Are you looking forward to beating your record and doing that here at the NFL?
I'd say very much so, but I think the biggest thing is just getting better every single day, pushing myself and doing the best I can do and fulfilling whatever role, needs to be filled.
I think final question, just what do you like about your new defensive coordinator? He's fun guy, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he has a pretty cool personality. Whenever we're in that defensive meeting room, he likes to get after it, and stuff like that. But that's the same thing out here. He likes to put together defenses, run different schemes and stuff like that. So, he's fun to play for.
Well, that's right. That is. You got my mic, Kim? Oh, you do? Okay. I'm not hearing it in my ears. There we go. You got that is Rayaun Lane. How about that, by the way? Wasn't that wild? Like, I think Liv had said, she didn't phrase it in that question, but I think his coach told Liv when she caught up with him a couple weeks ago, right around the draft, he was at an event over at Hidden Hills Country Club, speaking to some military folks in town, ironically, and it was right before minicamp. And I think he said he passed up like $1 million in NIL money to go back to the Navy. Like he was in the portal and passed up like those kind of dollars from whether it was Ole Miss or other teams to come back to the Navy and the Naval Academy. So that's kind of cool. And, obviously you talk about intangibly rich. Look, I got the shirt on today. We figure that with a guy like Rayaun Lane, you don't need to be James Gladstone and Liam Cohen in this regime to know that you're getting some intangibly rich qualities out of a guy from the Naval Academy. So that will be pretty cool to watch and see. And kind of his career, like where does it go? Can he play at this level? Can he stick? Can he play special teams? Does he get in there? I mean, who knows? Obviously they've got a plan for him, and they think he's a good football player. It wasn't just, hey, let's just take a guy from the Navy. So I think it'll be really interesting to see his career path, and is he one of the gems that they can find? Because our eyes are on that a little bit. James Gladstone, when he was with the Rams, was able to find some high-quality players and key contributors along with that Rams regime in the mid to even late rounds. This regime or this franchise here in Jacksonville has not done a great job of that. They really haven't. So you start to look at players that are drafted late 4th, in the 5th, in the 6th, and say, okay, could they be one of those guys? And I don't think the Jags had a 5th-round pick this year, so Rayaun Lane in the 6th round becomes one of those candidates, and it'll be interesting to watch him. But kind of a cool story with the Naval Academy, and I got a feeling we'll be talking to him quite a bit at significant moments throughout the year when the Jags do a really good job, by the way, of celebrating the military here in Jacksonville. And he'll become a face for that now, given his background. And almost, I guess there comes a little bit of responsibility with that. He already has visited the bases, which is really cool, in Mayport and NAS Jax. So he's made time to do that, which is a pretty cool story. So Rayaun Lane, Jaguars rookie, Olivia Tassley catching up with him, and a cool story to follow throughout. Let's take a time out. We'll come back. We get into more of the Jag stuff. We do have an Emmanuel Ogbah interview as well that you'll hear in the 11 o'clock hour. Get some other things in sports. The Knicks on the brink now. I've actually been watching more of the NBA. Why? But I have been. And what about the NHL playoffs? What's up with Major League Baseball as we enter the last part of May? And what's up with Travis Hunter? Travis Hunter video where he's not dancing. Maybe. It's coming up. We'll find out. We'll be right back on the Brent Austen Show on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Don't forget to visit Best Bet, bestbetjax.com, by the way. And we'll see you down at St. Augustine on June 5th. That's a Thursday. A week from tomorrow, we'll have the show down there. You can also check out the Orange Park and Monument Road locations as well. Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center.
You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
For the game day hustle and every day in between, juggling my show Jags Social to going under the Friday night lights and a social life, it's a daily tournament. But this ride, MVP status. The all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus isn't just my car, it's my personal locker room, office on the go, and VIP lounge on wheels. Let's talk tech. My profile remembers everything from customizing my dash display to setting the ambient lighting and my signature scent. And wireless charging, essential for live tweeting scores. Whether I'm packing for a beach day with friends or heading to the gym, there's space for every passion. After dominating all day, this becomes my recovery zone. The massage feature is like having a personal PT on call. Life's a non-stop game, but with this ride, I'm always on my A game. The 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Drive your passion.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Save 10% off any water heater, plus no trip charge. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. For a limited time, CGC is waiving the trip charge on all related plumbing calls. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
If you look good, you feel good. And the medical professionals here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics are here to make you feel your best. I'm on camera every week, and I have a confession to make. I'm not always confident in my appearance. Can you see my dark circles? Is my makeup highlighting my fine lines instead of covering them up? I question it all. So when I found out about the wide variety of procedures here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics, I knew help was just one appointment away. Medical Director Dr. Megan Deacon Casey and her board-certified physicians have been using the latest in cutting-edge technology for the last 10 years, giving men and women their personal confidence boost. From Botox, fillers, Morpheus 8, and so much more. The hardest part was figuring out what I needed. Thankfully, the medical team walked me through what would work best for me through a free consultation. Come look and feel your best with the team here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics. Visit them at one of their 2 locations, either over in Ponte Vedra or on the south side.
Welcome inside the Armor Guard exterior and gutter helmet showroom. There's a lot going on, like glass exteriors, replacement windows, and down there we have the retractable screens and awnings, plus hurricane protection. Let's talk more about those gutters, and to do that, we bring in Kevin. He's the owner, he's the expert. Why Gutter Helmet?
Well, Gutter Helmet is truly the only maintenance-free product. It lets the trash and debris go on the ground, the water wraps around and goes inside. Unlike filters, they sit on top of the gutters, and the trash and debris build up on top of filters, which requires maintenance. With Gutter Helmet, we're going to keep you off the ladder, the most dangerous thing in your garage. With Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. So get off the ladder and put on the helmet. Gutter Helmet.
Get a free estimate at gutterhelmetofnorthflorida.com. You can also call 904-762-7779 or visit the showroom on St. John's Bluff Road in Jacksonville.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
The Jacksonville Armada, well, what a game that was on Saturday. Everybody's still talking about it. Well, not everybody, but we're still talking about it. And Stuart Weber's still tweeting about it, and the Armada's still tweeting about it. I told Weber yesterday, I was like, hey, Weber, if I could get you to tweet 20% of the time as much as you do about the Armada, I mean, I think I could have you about 7,000 more followers.
That's real.
But hey, it was funny. I was watching because I was flying out that day, And you guys did a great job on the broadcast. Again, as we continue to do those broadcasts, I think a great job. I think it went pretty well. And what a finish. The crazy part about that match was like, why aren't they blowing the whistle?
Oh,
right?
Dude, we were saying the same thing.
Because we thought it was like 6 minutes of extra time. But I think like Stewart ended up saying it might have been 6 minutes from the time they said it, which was actually a couple minutes later.
We got it 2 minutes late because, listen, we talk about this sometimes in terms of like an after the show or whatever. If you had a camera in that control room in the last 10 minutes of that game, we would beat every OnlyFans model out there. This thing was nuts. There was so much going on. Nobody was naked, but no, everybody had clothes on.
It's a loud entrance for you, Casey Kurtz.
Dude, it was insane. So you had me kind of losing it because I was like, how much stoppage time? And I'm like yelling at the field producer. I'm like, yo, what's the deal? Like, go ask. He's like, they won't tell me. I'm like, okay. So then Marcel's like, doing it direct, like on fire. But there was another side part of Marcel's day going on, which I'm not going to air out. But he was a bit concerned about that. Me and Sesnick were yelling at each other about post-game, what we were going to do. So it's a whole mess. And then we finally get the number of stoppage time, and then it felt like they were going to score. So like we were all still working, but when I tell you it was me and Marcel, obviously, Sesnick standing behind us, and then Zach came in because there was like no replays to get them on. We're all watching, and when they scored, we all lost it. We all went berserk. It was insane. So that was really cool, and then we did a little bit of post game, and then Marcel's day got a whole lot worse after that. And I won't go into that too much, but that was wild. What a wild last couple of minutes. Go watch the replay. It was dope.
Crazy thing about soccer, it was good. It was really good. And by the way, you can watch all the there's replays. I think we're playing that one. I got to check. We're playing a bunch of different replays each night at like 6 and 8 o'clock. I think 8 o'clock here on the network, so actionsportshacks.com. You can go click on that one and kind of fast forward through and watch the last 15 minutes if you want.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Go to actionsportshacks.com. But, I mean, it was pretty crazy. At the 85th minute, they were down 4-1, and they ended up coming back and tying it. So it was a big deal, kind of a cool goal at the end. But, yeah, Marcel was balancing the idea that, he also had to go on TV at like 6:22.
Oh, man.
And so I was at the air. I'm matching this up, and I'm watching. I'm like, this is going to be pretty tight.
Well,
because usually the game, I mean, the one thing about soccer is usually within a time frame of 2 hours, right? And that one was getting a little close and dicey.
Well, so the other thing was we had golf on one of the TVs in there, and not that everybody knows this, obviously, but like if you go so far on the thing that's before, stuff gets out of the newscast.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're seeing it, and at 6, Marcel was like, "Are they still in?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they were until like 6:08.
Oh, wow.
And Marcel's like, I'm definitely not in the show.
Yeah, because usually sports will then get killed out of the show
first, right?
Yeah.
So we were all under and to be honest, Marcel would have missed it. Be it somebody because the original plan was no post as soon as it happened. Stuart, goodbye, right. We got to go.
Yeah.
But then they scored. Everything happened.
So it's kind of exciting.
Marcel's under the impression he's not in the show. So if you're watching the broadcast or you go watch the replay, like, we're going to different shots, and Stewart's losing his absolute mind, and all this stuff's happening because we're like, okay, we're cool, it's all good. And then we finally kind of slowly get out, and then I forget who comes up to Marcel. They're like, hey, you're on in like
3 minutes.
4 minutes. Marcel's like, why? We went to 08. They're like, they didn't cut it. They cut new stuff instead. And Marcel's like, nobody talked to me.
Yeah.
And he just took off, came back, did it like a true pro's pro. And then I caught up with him on the way out, and we had a conversation. But boy, let me tell you, that door in the sports office will never be the same. He did it, though. What a legend, man.
Yeah. Hey,
it was a fun day.
Communication in our world doesn't always communicate. But, hey, that's good. The rush of it. Getting dressed right in the commercial break.
Still look good, too, on TV.
Yeah, there we go. He can pull it off. But anyway, go watch that Armada game. And also we have another Armada match coming up tonight Saturday at 7 o'clock on the Action Sports Shacks 24/7 network. We've got some cool stuff happening. Not just that, obviously the Sharks home games, which will take place on June 7th will be the next one, along with an Armada.
There's a double that day.
That's an Armada afternoon game, I think at 3 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And then how about this one in 3 weeks? So on June 14th, we're going to old school Kingfish shootout from like 2 to 6. and then the Armada after that. So some fun stuff happened this summer on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Went to Elmira, New York this weekend.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
How was that? Oh, you flew?
Yeah, we flew into Rochester.
Oh.
Yeah, we flew to Rochester and back. And
Southwest?
Southwest flew to Rochester.
They still do the free bags right now, or?
For now, like you actually, in fact, Steph, I think we're trying to book one more. Oh no, she might have to book to go get Ty like later in July. And I think she said she has to book by today or tomorrow to make sure she gets the free bags because there's a cutoff coming up, I think, here at the end of May. So
they're going to go out of business.
You don't get the whole thing with
like,
that.
Who's flying Southwest just because?
Well, I like Southwest. I mean, I do.
I'm not.
But the bags are a big part of it.
It's the whole part of it.
I don't know about the whole part of it. I mean, they're a good airline.
I don't know. Here's the thing.
I've had a good experience flying
I've
Southwest.
We haven't fell out of the sky yet, so we're still doing it.
The best part about Southwest, in my opinion, even beyond the bags, is the fact that you can cancel the flight 5 minutes before.
Who are you telling?
And you can go get, like, you can use it as, like, whatever. What do they call it?
Credit.
I've
heard of this.
Right? So, like, but Delta and other things, like, I don't think they do that, right? They charge you a change fee.
Correct.
Well, that might be the better part of Southwest than even the bags.
I feel like most people aren't canceling 5 minutes forward, though.
No, but you can book something that's kind of cheap, and then you can slide it around if you decide not
Sure.
to go. Like, that peace of mind is pretty good.
Yeah. See, like, here's my beef with Southwest. By the way, killer tofu. There was 8 minutes of stoppage
I think
time.
it
was
8.
6, but they played 2 before they added the 6. So don't ask me. I don't know.
Yeah,
it ended up being right around 8 or 9. My thing with Southwest, though, is, like, it used to be super cheap compared to, like, the others. But it's not that cheap anymore. And then if you add the bags thing in, like, most of the places Southwest goes, right? You can fly to Chicago because they have, like, a whole airport that's, like, just Southwest.
Yeah.
You can also fly American United, and now with the bag thing, it's about the same price. Same thing with Houston. Same thing with Dallas. Like, same thing with Washington, D.C. So I just feel like Southwest, obviously, they know more than me, but it sounds like they're fast-tracking to go out of business.
Yeah, well, they've done 2 things. They have another thing coming up, and I don't know when that takes place, but they're doing assigned seating, too. Because they don't do assigned seating. So they've really got double things going on somewhere in the, I don't know the timing, but they've got.
What's the point?
No more assigned seating, now assigned seating, which also, that was a different thing. When you flew Southwest, you knew it was different. Now, I'm not saying it was better, but I don't understand why they didn't have assigned seating, quite frankly. It's just pick it would be better, I think. It
was fun.
But, and then also the bag thing. But the bag, like, I do think the bag thing will get people not flying.
Definitely.
Has to. Well, but the credit at the end now, right before, like 5 minutes before the flight, seriously, you can change it. You can, as long as you don't go on the flight, you can get it, which is a big deal. I know in your business too, probably, but
it's a huge, massive deal. Yeah. So actually, that's the main reason I hope Southwest stays in business. Can't talk too much about that, but that would be a good thing for.
They are going to stay in business,
dude. I'm just saying. Like, if Spirit's in business, then yeah, they're going to stay in business. But, like, I don't know. It seems like a very bold decision to do that. But I'm glad you had a safe trip up there. How was the experience? Well, was it a safe trip? Like, I guess.
Oh yeah, it was a fine trip.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you're the one that asked about Southwest. I wasn't complaining about the flight at all.
Well, I thought for some reason I was under the impression you drove there because I was like, Ty's got all his baseball stuff.
Yeah, Hick did. They drove because Brooks is keeping a truck up there. But we flew and met them.
Nice.
And they went to like the Knicks and the Mets and everything else.
Oh, cool.
So,
yeah. Did they win any of the games that they saw?
The Mets, they did. They beat the Dodgers. So yeah, so here's my story. You're from Indiana.
I am.
This was the first time I've gone to a place and I was like, this reminds me of back home, like where I grew up, like East Providence, Rhode Island, or where my parents are from, Pawtucket, Rhode Island. It's just it's kind of just there.
Yeah.
Like Elmira, New York is just
there.
It's
a good call.
It's not, I don't know, have you ever been?
No.
Yeah, I hadn't either. Like, the crazy part about it, like, I obviously worked in New York for 5 years in Albany, but you never venture down to this part of the state. We would always kind of hang up the top part of the state, but never in the south. Like, this is right on the border of, like, Pennsylvania. I had to look it up. It's near Binghamton, 2 hours from Rochester. But, I mean, legitimately, it's not like it's in the middle of nowhere. It's just like, it's kind of nondescript.
No, it's a good way to describe it, just there. Like, when you said that, I thought about Indiana. Like, when I go visit my grandparents, like, hey, Walmart's still over there? Menards?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Still here?
Like, that's what we had. And it's the reason I bring it up, because I said to Steph, like, very few times do you go to a place now, like, because if you're going on vacation, right, usually you go to a vacation spot where it's kind of hustling or bustling. Or if we go with Jags, you're going to these big cities. You're going Vegas. Even when we've gone the travel ball world, like, if you go around Atlanta, it's hopping. Or, I mean, shoot, I think Kaylee went out to Colorado or something. Like, those are busy places. And even around the state of Florida, when you go do that, it's in Fort Myers, it's in West Palm, it's in Sarasota. Like, these are, and the state of Florida is just like, has boomed so much that it's like, oh, everybody's doing this. Kind of feels like that is not the case, like in Elmira, New York, and probably in a lot of places everywhere else. Now, it's not also like just shedding people. We actually looked up. They have like a 0.18% population decline annually, which I don't think is a lot. That doesn't seem like a lot. You're losing. It's only a town of 26,000.
0.18.
So, I mean,
so they're losing like 26 people?
Yeah, well, maybe not even.
Okay.
Right? So I don't think they're losing a lot of people. It's not like everybody's leaving.
Right.
I think there was a time where, like, Detroit and stuff, people were really leaving. Right? So it's not that. But it is pretty nondescript now. And just not a lot going on. And I was kind of wondering that. I'm like, what does everybody do here?
So what do you think Ty's going to do?
Well, they're not going to get themselves. Well, I guess they could get in trouble because you're not. I mean, they might occasionally play golf, and he's going to play baseball, then they're going to play video games or something.
Okay,
there is not a lot going on now. I mean, you're not far from like the Finger Lakes, where we drove like 35 minutes, and you're beautiful. Like Saranac Lake is very nice and nice little town and stuff. But
so they could swim in a lake,
right? I mean, we stayed at a place. So we stayed in just in Elmira, and we're in a hotel. And it did have Walmart, and it had like had a Starbucks.
Good for you.
It had like a Texas Roadhouse right across the street, and then if you went down a little further, like it had like, I don't know, like a PetSmart and other places. But it was like the epicenter.
Okay.
I mean, that was it.
So Texas Roadhouse is the spot.
Yeah, that was it.
All 26,000 eat dinner at Texas Roadhouse on Saturday.
Well, I mean, no, we actually went to other places. They have some good. There were some good food places. But it's just interesting to go to a place. But I'd say it reminded me of back home more than anything else. Just, I mean, if you go to East Providence, and I took you to East Providence, it's a good place to live. Like, I thought it was great growing up, but it wasn't like, wow, look at this place.
Yeah.
You know, like, it wouldn't be much. I'd be parading you around.
True.
And telling you, in Pawtucket, honestly, when like my mom grew up in Pawtucket and my dad, and we'd go visit my grandma and stuff. And the thing in Pawtucket was the Pawtucket Red Sox, and they moved it.
Gone.
So, like, it kind of reminded me of that. And where are you from in Indiana?
I'm from Valparaiso.
So is Valpo a little bit like that? Because we got the college, though.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just like that.
So, like, there is actually an Elmira College.
It's the same thing then, basically.
And we looked it up, it had 618 people that go there.
That's it.
And there are 18 sports. They must play
they
Division
all
3. So
play?
everybody that goes there must play sport.
Can you imagine having 4 people in your class? You're like, all right, what are we doing for a group project, fellas? What are we doing here? That's crazy.
But yeah, that seems like a very small college.
Definitely.
Right? And they all play. I'm surprised they play sports, but it must be the engine to get.
So there's no way they play like football.
And they're probably D3, which means they don't give scholarships. So that's probably the engine to get people.
It's got to be a lot of individual sports, no?
Yeah, it might be. I don't know. 18 sports, like that's.
But then also
they don't have a football team, I don't think.
Okay, so no football, but like also see the sports that I'm trying to think of that are like low roster size would be like beach volleyball. Somehow I have a feeling they're not playing that.
I don't think so.
So like, what are they? Golf, baseball, I mean, I guess
tennis.
Tennis is a good one. That's a low roster sport.
Yeah, probably have tennis.
Cheerleading, maybe.
Have you ever? Maybe they. I'm sure they have basketball team stuff.
Basketball's small too.
I haven't looked it up. I guess we could easily look it up.
Nah, it's better this way. Swimming.
Have you ever heard of Corningware?
What?
Kim?
Corningware?
No, what's that?
So like that's like the old,
you wear it when you're shucking corn?
No, like China. Very good. China, or like plate. Not really China, but like your dishware stuff.
Ah.
You never heard of that?
No, but I just finally connected some dots.
Yeah,
you said
so
China and corn where I was lost.
Yeah, so I should have said that wasn't a good description. But like your parents probably had Corningware stuff like to cook with and everything.
I Googled it. Yeah.
And that's the next town over is Corning, New York, and that's like what they make.
How about that?
Yeah.
So Ty could go get some nice Corningware.
He could get some.
He can bring you guys back some nice Corningware as an anniversary present or something.
So it's anyway. We're the Memorial Day parade. I mean, the whole town came out for it.
All 26K?
Yeah, it felt like it. It was a pretty big
they were in the parade.
They
right?
were in the parade. So like that's cool. They'll be signing autographs for 2 hours tonight. The Elmira Pioneers are a big thing. You could go get them.
I could probably get Ty without going there, would be my guess, if I really wanted to make that happen.
Now, apparently, they'll have 5,000 people Friday night for opening day.
Wow.
That'd mean 20% of the town.
That's crazy.
If that's right.
Is it like
I still believe. I don't know if these numbers are right.
Is it like a stadium?